Dear student, I give lecture on voltage and reactive power control. First introduction about voltage and reactive power control. We have to control the voltage and reactive power in the power system. It is very important. So first we have to study about the importance of voltage and reactive power control. First one, both utility and customer equipment designed to operate at certain voltage rating, long time operation outside allowable range could cause them damage. So even utility, that is electricity board or supplier, and then customer, then both that means utility and customer equipment, that means designed to the at a certain voltage rating only. The lamp characteristics are very sensitive to changes of voltages. So depending upon the change in voltage, the lamp characteristics also varied, and then the life of the lamp may be reduced by 50% based on the change in voltage. Also, the power load consisting of induction motor, the voltage variation may cause stay operation. Most of the industries we are using the induction motor only, lagging power factor. So therefore the power load consists of induction motor, that means the voltage variation may cause stay operation only. Then too wide variations of voltage cause excessive heating of electrical devices such as distribution transformer also. So in the distribution level we have to step down, that means if for example 11 kV means step down 440 or 230, like that you have to distribute it to the consumer only. So therefore if the voltages changes, that will affect the performance of the distribution. System stability is satisfactory voltage level and reactive power control have significant impact on stability. If you want to give the stability to the system now, so we have to maintain the satisfactory level of the voltage and reactive power, and it should be controlled by different methods only. Then reactive power flow is minimized, so to reduce I squared R loss and I to I squared X losses also. That be minimum. That means ensures transmission system operates efficiently. Then power in AC network you already studied in the basic electrical, and then electrical power generation also. So power in AC networks is active power, reactive power, apparent power, power factor, and then power factor correction. Instantaneous power, you know the formula, V of t into I of t only. So the power is positive, negative also is there. Positive means power transmit or dissipate by load. Negative means power return from the load only. If the instantaneous power P of t is power transmitted by the load, then it is the average power P at load only. Sometimes the capital P is known as active power or real power or true power measured in the unit of watts only. But the reactive power capital Q only is used for represent the reactive power. What is the importance of reactive power? Refer to the circulating power in the grid that does not no useful work only. And then second one, results from energy storage elements in the power grid. It has a strong effect on system voltages. It must balance in the grid to prevent voltage problems. Reactive power levels have an effect on voltage collapses also. Then what is the significant between, that means the difference between the real and reactive power only. So the real power can be delivered over much greater distances. The reactive resources must be distributed throughout the system only. Generation of real power requires conversion from some energy sources like thermal, nuclear, wind, hydrogen only. But reactive power requires almost no energy to produce. This is the difference between the real and reactive power services. Then the reactive power is the byproduct of alternating current systems. That means transformers, transmission lines, motors require reactive power. Transformers, transmission lines introduce inductances as well as resistances. Resistance means what opposes the flow of current. Even inductance also oppose the flow of current only. Then next, must raise the voltage higher to push the power through the inductance of the lines. The further the transmission of power, the higher the voltage needs to be raised only. Electric motors need reactive power to produce magnetic field for their operation only. This is the reactive power is the byproduct of alternating current system only. Then concept of voltage control. Before we studied what is the importance of the reactive power control, concept of reactive power control, what is the definition of reactive control, formula, everything. Now we studied about the concept of voltage control. The control of voltage and reactive power is the major issue in the power system operations because of topological differences between the distribution and transmission system. So different strategies have evolved. And then voltage collapses happened in the power system, so we have to maintain the voltage stability. So what are the main objectives of the voltage control only? One is voltages at all terminals of equipment in the system are within the acceptable limit. System stability is enhanced to maximize utilization of the transmission system. The reactive power flow is minimized so as to reduce I squared R and I squared X losses only. Almost all power transported are consumed in alternating network only. And then the real power is essential to move active power through the transmission and distribution system. And then the real power is the average power over the cycle and measured by the volt, ampere or watt. So therefore the portion of the power with zero average value called reactive power measured in volt ampere reactive, that is VARS. Then we studied about the production or generation and absorption of reactive power. So what are the components that means used to absorb or generate the or produce the reactive power? First one is synchronous generator. The synchronous generator can be operated in normal excitation, under excitation and over excitation. The synchronous machines can be made to generate or absorb reactive power depending upon the excitation only. If suppose the generator operates under over excitation, it generates reactive power. If the generator works under excited excitation, it absorbs reactive power only. So the synchronous generator can be made to generate, absorb reactive power depending upon the excitation applied. The ability to supply reactive power is determined by the short circuit ratio. That means the generator can generate or absorb reactive power. The reactive power is supplied by the synchronous generator depending upon the short circuit ratio only. The short circuit ratio SCR is equal to reciprocal of, that means synchronous reactance only. An over-excited synchronous machine operating on no load condition, the synchronous generator generates reactive power only. An under-excited synchronous machine absorbs reactive power. So it is undesirable to transmit large amount of kVA or over transmission line as this produces excessive voltage drop. Second component, synchronous compensator. The synchronous compensator, that means can be provided for reactive power without producing real power only. Then next component, capacitive and inductive compensators. These devices that can be connected to the power system to adjust the voltage levels. A capacitive compensator produces an electric field, thereby generating reactive power. But an inductive compensator produces a magnetic field to observe reactive power is similar to inductance. So compensation devices are available as either capacitive or inductive alone as a hybrid to provide hybrid combination of inductive and capacitive reactance. So to provide both generation and absorption of reactive power. That means the capacitive and inductive compensators can be used to provide for both generation and absorption of reactive power. Next component is shunt capacitors and shunt reactors. Shunt capacitors, that means offers the cheapest, so it means of reactive power supply. Shunt reactors offers the cheapest of reactive power absorption, and they are connected in the transmission line during light load conditions only. Then next component, overhead lines, underground cables. The overhead lines and the underground cables both are operating at the normal system voltage only, and then both are used to produce strong electric fields. So therefore the both are generate the reactive power only. When the current flows through the overhead line, or that means underground cable, it produces a magnetic field only which absorb reactive power only. The cable generate more reactive power than the transmission line because of cables are having high capacitance. A lightly loaded overhead line is a net generator of reactive power, but the healthy loaded overhead line is a net absorber of reactive power only. The reactive power generated by the electric field is always greater than the reactive power absorbed by the magnetic field. Therefore, the cables are always net generators of reactive power only. Then, transmission lines are considered as a generating kVAr in their shunt capacitance and consuming kVAr in their series inductance only. You see the diagram. E is the voltage symbol, and then current is there, and then load and all is there. If we then assume the transmission line to be lossless, there is no loss now. What is the reactive power absorbed by the transmission line? Del QL is equal to I squared XL, but XL is equal to omega L. If due to the capacitance of the line, the reactive power generated by the line, that means del QC is equal to modulus of V squared divided by XC only. Suppose that means the reactive power absorbed by the line is equal to the reactive power generated by the line, that is del QL is equal to del QC. Then finally we can get the surge impedance of the line Zn. Zn is equal to normally impedance equal to V by I, that is equal to root L by C only. Then P is equal to modulus of E modulus of V divided by X into sine delta only, where delta is the load angle or torque angle or power angle, that is 90 degree, that is maximum power can be transferred. This is the simple equations of power equation of synchronous machine only. Here we have two cases we have to study to control the power. First one is if the del QL greater than del QC means, then what happened? The voltage sags. If the voltage at the two ends are maintained constant, the variation of the voltage along the lines only. In case 2, if the del QL, that means less than del QC, now what happened and all, that means the voltage rises and maintains constant voltage at the end only. So now you see the diagram. Y-axis modulus of voltage V, and then x-axis distance. Then you can draw the two conditions. One is, that means what? That means del QL is equal to del QC. Another one is del QL greater than del QC. Another one is del QL less than del QC. This is the variation of voltage along the transmission line based on that whether the transmission line absorb or generate the reactive power only. Then transformers. In transformers, then always observe the reactive power only. So the all the unit converted into per unit value only. So therefore the reactive power absorbed that is equal to root 3 kVA xt kVR, where X is the transformer reactance per phase, I is the current in the amps only. Then loads. Then loads is nothing but that means they normally observe the reactive power only. So the heavy lagging load cause the severe voltage drop only. So therefore a load bus always observe the reactive power only. So both active power and reactive power of the composite load vary as the function of the voltage magnitude. The load is always observe the reactive power when the load change occurs depending upon the day or week or month, whatever may be, or the weather season or any season. So from this length we can clearly understood what is the concept of reactive power control, concept of voltage control, what is the importance of reactive power, what is the importance of voltage control, and then what are the components used to generate and observe the reactive power. Thank you student for watching this video.